Anthony in Lancaster, California. You're on the air with Congressman Khanna.
Hey, how's it going, Thom and Khanna? My name's Anthony.
Good.
I'm in California. So I want to talk about the growing wealth and economy in the country. Right now I'm working 2 part-time jobs and going to school and trying to make it better a life situation for myself. But yet in California you have all these like high taxes and, you know, there's the welfare state and all this different...
Anthony, if you're real low income, you're probably not paying any taxes in California or very much.
You know, I did my taxes on TurboTax, and I actually messed up, and I had to owe the federal government back, but that's my mistake. It's not the general, yeah.
Well, and that's the federal government, not California. Pardon my interrupting you anyway. You were talking to Congressman Khanna.
No,
Forgive me.
I just want to hear his thoughts on, like, the growing wealth and economy, or inequality in the country, and all that different stuff.
Well, Anthony, I sympathize with your situation. I think you said you're working 2 jobs and you're trying to get an education. And you're focused, though, on the taxes. But my view is what we ought to be focused on is why do you have to work 2 jobs and why do you have to pay so much for education? What we need to do is make sure that the jobs you're doing are actually paying more. And that's why we need a $15 minimum wage, an expansion of the earned income tax credit, getting rid of stock buyback so that people are actually being compensated for their productivity. If we did that, we would raise the wages you were earning, and you wouldn't have to rely on 2 jobs. And then we need to make education in this country tuition-free so that you don't have to go into that debt. And my view is that if we had the right policies that would allow you to earn what you deserve based on your productivity and get the education you need, get the health care you need, that you wouldn't be concerned about some of the taxes. But the problem is not the tax. The problem is that we don't have the investments and spending for you to have the quality of life and the type of life you need.
We had a discussion last week about this, Congressman, with regard to the earned income tax credit, that which was actually put into law, I believe, by Nixon, might have been Bush Sr., but it was a Republican president who supported it. And that the reason they supported it was much like food stamps and housing support and Medicaid, that these are essentially subsidies to low-wage employers. And it makes it easier for low-wage employers to justify their low wages. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's a fair critique in terms of there is some of the subsidy going to the employer. The studies I've seen show that about 75 to 80% still goes to the worker. About
no, it's all going to the worker, but it allows the employers to say, see, you know, these people are doing just fine, and we're paying them, you know, $8 an hour.
Yeah, and that's why I think it has to be coupled with an increase of the minimum wage to $15. So you can't just say, okay, we're going to do an expanded earned income tax credit and not have the floor.
Why not claw that back from the employers? Say if you're paying less than $15 an hour, you, the employer, have to pay the earned income tax credit, the food stamps, the Medicaid portion of this employee.
That's Bernie in my bill. That's the Stop Bezos Act, where we said that was the bill that we have to. If you're a company that's worth a lot and you're paying your employees less than a $15 minimum wage, taxpayers shouldn't be subsidizing all these benefits. And we got excoriated by the traditional liberal think tanks on that bill, and Jeff Bezos, in response to it, raised his wage to $15. But the argument is something actually both liberals and Republicans